Hi, it's Sherry from Tranquility Soul Spa, and I would like to talk to you today about how Brene Brown and James Redfield combine to actually create true transformation in your life. So stick around. Hello. Okay, so I watched the Brene Brown special on Netflix over the weekend, and I also had Dare to Lead sitting in my to read pile. So I grabbed it out because what she talks about is very, very important. The idea of shame, the idea of fear, the idea of courage, and the fact that you can't have courage without fear, that they are intrinsically linked somehow. But I want to take it a step further because I really, really, really am a firm believer that the control dramas out of the Celestine Prophecy are game-changing, and that you really can't do the work in Brene Brown's courses without knowing yourself deeply. When you don't know yourself, it becomes really, really hard to change because you don't know what you're changing from and you don't know what you're changing to. I did this myself for most of my life. I tried to change surface things, but I didn't really get who I was. I didn't understand it. I didn't feel that it was important. Stupid, right? And I didn't really feel like it mattered all that much. And I was really, really, really wrong. Now, for those of you who don't know my story, I had kind of a roughish childhood. I didn't really fit into the world in any way, shape, or form. And, I was bullied in school. Didn't really get along with my parents at home. And so, even from like 2 years old, life was a little rough for me. And I spent a really long time seeking answers. I started seeking answers when I was about 11 or 12, and I kept seeking them for most of my life. Now, my late teens, early 20s, I really started to feel like I had it together. I really did. I had done a ton of research. I had done a ton of self-knowledge. I had read every book. I had taken a couple of classes at that point. And this was back in the 80s. There were no classes, but I had found things. And it helped. I thought I was better, but I was treating surface problems. I wasn't really, truly healing my soul. I wasn't fixing the problems that were intrinsic to who I was. And the reason for that is because I wasn't aware of them. It wasn't that I was, magically oblivious. It was just that we hadn't evolved to that point where we talked about this stuff yet. So, I thought I was doing all the right things and blah, blah, blah. And then I got married and I had a baby and life seemed okay, but it really wasn't. Right after we had gotten married, my husband got PTSD, and that was really stressful. And that really was kind of the turning point for both of us in the marriage, was that he was now unhealthy and my fake healthiness was just fake. It was only surface deep. So when things started to fall apart, I didn't have the tools to fix them. And I didn't have the tools to manage myself as I fell further apart. It kind of sucked. And as part of this, We drifted further and further apart. I felt more and more and more lost and unloved and unlovable. And it wasn't until I was in my 40s and starting to, we were getting a divorce or splitting up, and things were kind of, ugh. That was when I started to really make some decisions about my life, to really look inside myself, and to try and classify what was going on. And that was when I discovered the control dramas. And suddenly, everything made a lot more sense. Everyone around me made a lot more sense. I made a lot more sense. It became clear who the important people in my life were when it comes to control dramas. My father's an interrogator. My mother's an intimidator. Huh, look at that. Huh. I became an aloof because of that. I kept people at a distance. I built walls to protect myself. And I didn't really get it for the longest time. Sorry, my thing is beeping at me. Oh my goodness. Hang on one sec while I silence these bad boys. Okay. I didn't really get it until this. So, I'm coming along and I'm realizing that I'm playing aloof, and I'm starting to peel back the layers of that and starting to allow people in and starting to change who I be, change myself and grow into myself. And that was when, once I knew the control drama stuff, that was when I could start to lean into the things that Brene Brown talks about vulnerability, about fear, about courage, about shame. Because up until you really truly know yourself, those things are just words. They're not things that actually impact you necessarily. So I invite you, if you are on this journey, if you are thinking about this journey, start out by looking at the control dramas from the Celestine Prophecy. It's one of my favorite books. It's one of the ones that I highly recommend to people, and yet I still blanked on the name. Before you go into anything else, if you're interested in these topics, if you want to know more, I offer an amazing program that does a lot of the work with you and for you. It is called The Shift, and we shift women from stressed out, overwhelmed messes to blissed out, calm, confident, secure women who know who they are and who they want to be. If that sounds like something that you are interested in, then I invite you to book a call with me, and let's see what happens. Now, one thing that I will say as kind of a final wrap up of all of this is bravery is so important, and you can't have bravery without fear. And that is something that Brene Brown teaches us. You can't have bravery without fear. You can have fear without bravery. Fear without bravery, it's not very much fun. But if you are willing to step through the fear, I promise you what lands on the other side is freaking amazing, and you will love it. That's all I got for you guys. If you like this content, subscribe, hit the button below to be notified, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.